First of all, I want to welcome you to Car Chats. I have a really long commute today, so I wanted to jump on and let's just have a car chat. And let's talk during my drive. Where I'm going is not exactly the purpose, but it did get me to thinking, where am I going? As we each set out on our own adventure, we need to know where we're going. You don't just get in the car, strap in, and just start driving. Now, I'm sure we've all done that at some point, but you have a destination of where you're going. Well, folks, this also applies in business, right? Where are you going? Where's your destination? Where's your next stop? And these are things to think about. So let's do that. Let's think about, where are we going? Now, I want you to get a piece of paper, a notebook, or you can journal and just write down, where am I going at the top? This is your thought-provoking question. When you think about it, it might all of a sudden give you lots of ideas. Where am I going? Figures might jump into your head. Goals might jump into your head. You might have a clear vision of where you're going. But without it, you're not going. So I want to take a moment real quick right here and think back to when I was in high school and we had to come up with a quote for a project. And I remember thinking about all of these famous quotes, and I'm not a big book reader. Well, I wasn't. I am now. And at that time, I remember thinking this was the hardest assignment I had ever done in my life up until that point. The quote that I came up with, I thought was the stupidest quote ever for my senior year project. That quote, "If you are not going, you will not get where you need to be." Tiffany Welch, circa 2001, I think. So looking at that quote many years later, so here we are, what is this, 2025? So 24 years later, that quote actually resonates now. It's almost like I prepared the quote for my future. I had set a piece of my roadmap, my destination. If you are not going, you will not get where you need to be. But this is actually a quote that has a little bit of a drive behind it, a little bit of a mindset shift behind it. It's also a really emotional quote for me now. It's so true. If I give up, if I stop, I'm not going to get where I'm trying to go. In life, in business, at all. So I want to take a moment and just think, where are you going? What's next? That could be later today, tomorrow, this week, next week, this month, next month, this year, next year, 5 years out, 10 years out. But where are you going? Go ahead, think about it, write it down. When we write things down, that's how we start making progress. So I want you to write that down. Where are you going? Where are you going? How are you going to get there? How are you going to get there? Now, physically, if you're going somewhere by car, bus, plane, train, love trains. But how are you going to get there? You've got to know where you're going, and then you decide the how. How am I going? How am I going to get there? What does that look like? Do I need to have a meeting with some people to help me get there? Do I need to purchase a building, a course, a fill in the blank? Right? How are you going to get there? When you're thinking about your how, the next step that comes to mind, who is going to help you get there? force with you. So now you should have a couple different things wrote down, or at least you've started thinking about some things. Where are you going? How are you going? Maybe it's who's going with you. You've got to be able to connect it all, though, right? You can't just have the information. I mean, that's a great start. Gosh, is that a great start? But if we don't put a roadmap together for our life, for our business, and we just let things happen, oh my gosh, don't just let things happen. Plan it out. Plan it out. And maybe it doesn't go as planned, but that's okay. You're going to learn something from it if it doesn't go as planned, and you might fail once or twice, and that's okay too. Because once you fail, you are going to learn from those mistakes. How to do it different, how to do it better, how to come back more prepared. So just think thoroughly on this topic for just a brief moment. Just a brief moment. What does that roadmap look like? Do you see a vision in your head? Draw it out. I can't draw a stick figure, but draw it out. Draw it out. And maybe your vision is so clear you can hear it. You can see it. Maybe it has a smell to it. Fresh cut grass. Freshly baked cookies. Maybe it's a nostalgic memory for you. Something back from grandma's house. A memory of you and your parents at childhood. There are so many things that could happen here, right? But think about moving yourself forward through your vision. Where are you going? So in business, when we think about where are we going, sometimes it's not crystal clear. That's okay. That is absolutely okay. Sometimes it may seem so far out of reach. My goal is to be revenue goal, $1 million by the end of this year. But you haven't even hit 200,000 yet. How are you going to make that happen? You've got to have some strategy on paper to make that happen. It's not just going to happen overnight. It's not just going to fall in your lap. Not usually. So let's dig into it, right? Let's dig into where are you going? At my agency, Prestige Purpose, this is what we do. We stop and we dig in. Where are you going? What are your goals? What are your dreams? What's your vision? What does it feel like? What does it look like? What does it sound like? Because if you can't see it, you've got the blinders on, because most of the time in your own business you do. You can't get out of your own way. And I worked with many coaches for many years trying to get my own self out of my own way. And it finally hit me one day. Why am I paying money to be surrounded by a community of people that are helping me stand in my way? Why am I paying them money to help me stand in my own way? That's exactly what I was doing. I wasn't having someone work with me one-on-one directly and move me each step of the way and say, okay, I feel like there's a gap right here. Now let's talk about this gap that I'm seeing. What does it look like to you? And let's problem solve. Let's look at strategy. Is it going to work? And if it doesn't work, what's the backup plan? What does it look like? What does it feel like? And who's going to be there to help you with it? So these are some of the things that we talk about in Prestige Purpose when we're looking at each individual small business service industry client that we work with. But you can do it right here. What is your journey? Where are you going? Who's going to help you? Have you ever heard somebody say you need 3 power partners? 3 power partners to help you get somewhere. Those 3 power partners can be your next lead. They could be the next person on your team. They could be one of your outsourced team members. I have lots of outsourced team members. Lots. To be successful, it's really hard to do it by yourself. And gosh dang, we want all of the credit sometimes. But the credit is yours. Because it's your team, and that should make you more proud than trying to struggle through and do yourself while other things are just falling off the back end plates. You've got them all spinning in all kinds of directions, and all of a sudden, that one important phone call that you were gonna make just right after this next thing, you forget to make it till a week later. And by then, that client's mad. That client's moved on. I remember reading a book one time, and he had mentioned how he had dropped the ball working with a client, and he meant to call her. And things happened. He got so busy with the next project, he couldn't give her a call. Well, he saw her years later at a networking event and walked up, looked her square in the face and said, I just want to apologize and know how I could have done better. And what can I do to make that up to you? Because I realize I failed you on your project. That's huge. That's huge. That's why we need a team. We need a team on our back office side to just help us pull some of those puzzle pieces together. So where are you going? And how are you going to get there? And who's going to help you get there? Did you know that even I still have coaches that I work with for leadership, communication, and lifestyle? Because if I'm not constantly pouring into myself and looking at where I'm going, it's going to be really hard to help other people on my team and in my community. I have to know where I'm going. I have to know, is the cruise control set? Is it set for a school zone, or is it set for a speeding ticket, right? Think about that. What's your pace? Write that down. How fast do you want to go to get there? And then make sure that it's measurable, and gosh dang, it's got to be reasonable or you're not going to do it, and then that feels a little bit like failure, and we're not here for failure, we're here to be successful. So, where are you going? Maybe you've only gotten to write one thing down so far. We're about 10 minutes in. And if it's just that one thing, and you only have one thing written down to where you're going, your job's going to be a little bit easier than everybody else that wrote down 3, 5, 7, 10, 12, 20 things. Because you can fully focus on one thing. You cannot fully focus on 20. Am I making sense? Am I making sense, right? So pick one thing off of your list and put a circle around it. Just one thing. Don't overthink it. Don't overthink it. When you overthink, you're stepping backwards. Don't overthink it. Just circle one. Whichever one feels right to you. And then here's where the overthinking is going to come in, because this is where I do want you to stop and look at your list, and pause me if you need to and come back. But look at your list. And as you're looking at your list, I want you to really focus. What is the next project on this list I can work on to help me reach the bigger vision of where I'm going? Maybe one of those is find those power partners. That needs to happen before you can go do one of the other things on your list. Maybe you need to talk to a bank first. There is an order of operation, right? The thing that you circled is the one thing that really jumped out to you that you want to do. So how are you going to get to do that first? There might be a step that needs to go ahead of that. I want you to find what you think should be your first step, and I want you to put a big number 1 beside that. That's going to be your first step. So go ahead and put a 1 beside that. Drop down to the bottom of the page. List out 3 steps that you can do this week. 5-day work week. This week, what can you do to make those steps happen? Maybe you do need to hire a business coach, someone to lock arms with you and look it over your shoulder and help you and move you forward. Maybe you need to just invest in yourself. Or maybe you need to reach out into the community. Maybe you need to do a survey. Maybe you need to call your competitors. And I know that sounds so all of a sudden, but let me be just crystal clear here. Calling your competitors is not ugly. It's not. It's rewarding. And it's growth. And it's not just growth for you, it's also growth for them. And don't secretly do it. When you call your competitor, ask to speak to the business owner or the manager and introduce yourself. It's a collaboration call. Change your mindset. There should be nothing icky feeling about that. That's a collaboration call. We're servicing the same type of clients, the same neighborhoods, the same community. I want to see how we can help each other move forward without looking at it through the lens of competition, but of collaboration. If I don't have it and you have it, let me send them to you, and vice versa. We might not do the exact same thing and have the exact same items on our shelf, so let me use you as a referral partner. I own a cleaning company in Shreveport, Bossier, Louisiana, and I am friends with about 5 other cleaning business owners in that area, and we collaborate. And through collaboration, we are able to grow our companies, and we are able to make shifts when it needs to happen within the neighborhoods that we're servicing and the communities that we are servicing because of collaboration. During COVID, we had all sorts of collaboration. Not one of us shut down. Instead, we grew bigger. The power of collaboration at this point in business, don't look at it as competition. And if they want to treat you as competition, you're trying to bark up the wrong tree. Go find somebody else. Go find somebody else. If they want to shut the door on you, if they want to hang up on you, go find somebody else. It's not the right fit. It's not the right fit, and that's okay. I want you to hear that. That's okay. So where are you going? You know what you want to do next. You've already circled that, but then we took a greater look at it to decide what really needs to happen next. And then we're going to write down 3 ways to get there. 3 next steps. Start that roadmap. You can't put the GPS on $1 million if you don't know how to get there. You're not going to make it. Some of this is a research phase, right? Some of it is actually boots on the ground. Some of it is getting on your hands and knees, getting dirty and doing the work. During this process of figuring out your roadmap, you're going to have so many new thoughts that come barging in. You're going to have so many ideas. Write those down. Keep the page going. Don't stop here. This is a rough draft. So at the very top of this paper where you started writing, and good golly, I hope it wasn't on a Post-it note, but I want you to write at the very top of it the letter D, R, A, F, T, draft. It's just a draft. You can change it at any point in time. It seems like when we start writing things out, we feel like we're carving it in stone and it's going to be there forever. But the reality is it's just a draft. Give yourself permission to change it at any point in time. But I only want you to give yourself permission to change it if you're going to move forward, not to go backwards. Recently, I had to make the decision to shut down a business that brought in over $100,000 a year in a very small location. That decision wasn't easy. That decision is not something I woke up one day and said, you know what, I'm going to do this. It's a decision that I thought about and struggled through for over 12 months. Over 12 months. And when I finally decided to shut this business down, the calm that fell over me was almost emotional. There was no anxiety about it. I had prayed. I had already given it to God. He gave it back to me and said, this is the decision. I've been trying to tell you this whole time. I've been closing doors that I did not open for you, and still you push through them. And the minute that I closed that business, the doors that started opening are just confirmation, right? Confirmation that wasn't supposed to be there for me. So I don't want you to look at something like that as a step backwards. It's actually a step forward. Closing down that location gave me the opportunity to take on more private mentoring, to host more workshops, to do more public speaking. to where I am directly serving my community and serving others, which is where my heart is just rooted. So as we're thinking about where are you going, do you really know where you're going? Really know. You should be getting a crystal clear picture now. If you feel like you're stuck, if you feel like, oh my gosh, this is so much, it's only been 20 minutes and I just have so many thoughts. If your cruise control is set and you can't get it to back down, or maybe you're just taking that Sunday stroll and the thoughts aren't coming. If you want to work with me, just let me know. I am happy to work with you. But you've already started the work here yourself. I want to leave you with this one thought before I wrap up. The one thought is, you are going. You are going somewhere, and you might not be going as fast as you want to go, and that's okay. But you are going, and you are growing. And I want you to keep moving forward, and I want you to check in with me. I'll drop my email below. Check in with me and let me know. Feeling a little stuck. Open to ideas, love suggestions. But I want you to know you are going. I'm Tiffany Welch with Prestige Purpose, and it is my purpose to collaborate with you. It is my purpose to serve you with integrity, and it's my purpose to help